Have you ever walked past the common room in a nursing home and noticed how full the schedule looks? Bingo at 10, chair yoga at 11, crafts after lunch, group games before dinner. On paper, it looks lively, cheerful, almost like a cruise ship without the ocean. And maybe you've wondered, or even been told directly, all these activities are here to keep you happy, engaged, and young at heart. That sounds comforting. But let me ask you something gently and honestly. If these activities were truly designed only for your happiness, why do so many residents still feel lonely, tired, or quietly frustrated at the end of the day? This is an uncomfortable topic, but it's an important one, especially if you're over 60 and thinking about your future, or if you already have a loved one in a nursing home. Today, we're going to talk about the real reason nursing homes push so many social activities and why it often has much less to do with your joy than you've been led to believe. This isn't about fear or blame. It's about understanding the system so you can protect your independence, your dignity, and your peace of mind. Now, social connection does matter as we age. No one is saying isolation is healthy. Conversation, laughter, and shared experiences can absolutely lift the spirit. But there's a big difference between meaningful connection and constant scheduled socialization. One is nourishing, the other can quietly drain you. And that difference is where the truth lives. Let's start with something most people don't realize. In many nursing homes, social activities are not designed around individual personalities, energy levels, or emotional needs. They're designed around efficiency. When residents are gathered together in one place, staff can monitor many people at once. Fewer residents wandering the halls means fewer falls, fewer complaints, fewer unpredictable situations. From a management perspective, a room full of people playing a game is easier than dozens of individuals doing their own thing. It's not personal, it's logistical. Think about it this way. If everyone is in the activity room from 10 to noon, staff know exactly where you are. Meals come next, then another group activity, then dinner. The day becomes a controlled flow, and control in institutional settings is often valued more than comfort. Many residents sense this, even if they can't quite put it into words. They feel rushed, herded, or subtly pressured to participate, even on days when their body or mind is asking for quiet. You may have heard someone say, "You should go to the activity, it's good for you." That sounds caring, but for many seniors, especially those who spent a lifetime making their own choices, being told what's good for you over and over can feel infantilizing. It slowly chips away at the feeling of being an adult with preferences, moods, and boundaries. Happiness doesn't come from being busy all day. It comes from feeling respected. Another truth that's rarely spoken out loud is that activity participation looks very good on paper. Nursing homes are often evaluated by families, inspectors, and even state agencies based on engagement metrics. How many activities are offered, how many residents attend, and how full the room looks during visiting hours. A packed activity room sends a message. This place is lively, caring, and well run. It reassures families that their loved one isn't sitting alone all day, and that reassurance helps justify high monthly costs. But here's the quiet part. Attendance doesn't equal enjoyment. Many residents go because they're bored, not because they're fulfilled. Others go because it's the only way to leave their room. Some go because they feel guilty saying no, or because staff gently nudge them again and again until it's easier to comply than to resist. Over time, that pressure can lead to emotional fatigue, smiling on the outside while feeling unseen on the inside. There's also the issue of one-size-fits-all socializing. Not everyone recharges around groups. Some people have always been private, reflective, or selective with their energy. Aging doesn't change that. In fact, it often amplifies it. Forcing constant group interaction on someone who values solitude can increase anxiety, irritability, and even depression. Yet nursing homes rarely tailor activities to personality types because that requires time, staff, and flexibility. three things that are usually in short supply. Now, let's pause for a moment and be clear about something important. This isn't about avoiding people or rejecting community. It's about choice. Real happiness comes from choosing when to engage and when to rest, from having a say in how your day unfolds. When social activity becomes mandatory in everything but name, it stops being social and starts being institutional. As we ease deeper into this conversation, it becomes clear that the real purpose behind many of these activities is not joy, but management. Keeping residents visible, occupied, and predictable reduces risk and liability. And while that may make the facility run smoothly, it doesn't automatically make life richer for the people living there. Now that we've explored how social activities are often used as a tool for control and efficiency, it naturally leads us to another layer of the story, one that has to do with staffing, costs, and why your time is sometimes treated as a resource instead of something precious. When you start to look at staffing inside many nursing homes, the picture becomes even clearer. Most facilities operate with tight budgets and constant pressure to do more with fewer people. Caregivers are often responsible for too many residents at once, and burnout is common. In that kind of environment, anything that keeps residents occupied in groups is seen as a solution. Group activities aren't just about filling time, they're a way to stretch limited staff as far as possible. When residents are spread out, one person reading quietly in their room, another wanting a walk, someone else asking for help with a phone call, staff are pulled in many directions. But when everyone is guided into the same room for a scheduled activity, supervision becomes simpler. One or two staff members can keep an eye on 20 or 30 people at once. From the facility's point of view, that's efficient. From the resident's point of view, it can feel like your day is being arranged for someone else's convenience. This is where many seniors begin to feel something they rarely talk about out loud: invisibility. When your needs don't fit neatly into the schedule, they're often postponed. If you'd rather take a quiet walk than play a game, you may be told to wait. If you'd like a deeper conversation instead of small talk, there may be no one with the time to sit and listen. Over time, this can create a subtle message that your preferences are less important than the routine. Another layer that deserves attention is how social activities are used to manage emotions, not nurture them. Loneliness, sadness, grief, and fear are very real parts of aging, especially in a place where so much has changed. Instead of addressing those feelings with meaningful one-on-one support, many facilities rely on distraction. Keep people busy, keep them smiling, keep them moving from one thing to the next. It looks positive on the surface, but it often avoids the deeper emotional work that actually brings peace. You may have noticed that many activities are cheerful but shallow. Trivia games, sing-alongs, crafts that are finished in an hour and forgotten by evening. There's nothing wrong with lighthearted fun, but when that's all there is, day after day, it can start to feel empty. Seniors are not children who need to be entertained. They are adults with decades of experience, stories, skills, and wisdom. When activities don't honor that depth, residents can feel quietly diminished. There's also a financial reality at play. Activities are often used as a selling point. Families touring a facility see a calendar packed with events and think they'll never be bored here. It helps justify the cost and eases guilt. But boredom and loneliness are not the same thing. A full calendar doesn't guarantee a full heart, and residents are the ones who live with that difference every single day. What's especially hard is that many seniors blame themselves when they don't enjoy these activities. They think something is wrong with them. Why don't I feel happier? Why am I still tired? Why do I just want to be alone? The truth is, nothing is wrong with you. Wanting quiet, meaning, autonomy, and respect is not a failure. It's a human need, and it doesn't disappear with age. Some residents eventually stop attending activities altogether, and this is often misunderstood. Staff may label them as withdrawn or uncooperative. Families may worry they're giving up. But in many cases, it's an act of self-preservation. It's a way of reclaiming a small piece of control in an environment where so much control has been lost. Unfortunately, withdrawing can also lead to fewer interactions with staff, which creates another cycle of neglect and misunderstanding. What's often going missing in these environments is true choice, not the illusion of choice, but real, respected choice. Choice means being allowed to say yes or no without pressure. It means having options that fit different energy levels and personalities. It means being seen as an individual, not a slot to be filled on a schedule. Without that, even the most colorful activity room can feel like a cage with decorations. As this reality settles in, many seniors begin to ask themselves deeper questions about independence, about what they truly need to feel alive, and about how easily freedom can slip away when routines are disguised as care. These questions naturally open the door to an even more important conversation, one that has to do with how constant socialization can quietly weaken confidence, decision-making, and the sense of self that took a lifetime to build. One of the most overlooked effects of constant and forced social activity is how it slowly erodes a person's sense of self. When your day is planned from morning to night, when bells ring and announcements tell you where to be and when, something subtle happens inside. You stop listening to your own inner voice. The small, everyday decisions that once defined your independence begin to disappear. What time you wake up, how long you sit in silence, whether you feel like being around others or not. Over time, this can weaken confidence in ways that are hard to notice at first, but deeply felt. Many seniors describe a quiet numbness that creeps in. Not sadness exactly, and not anger either, just a feeling of being on autopilot. When life becomes a series of activities you attend rather than choices you make, your role shifts from participant to passenger, and no amount of cheerful music or group games can replace the dignity that comes from agency. Happiness isn't something that can be scheduled every hour on the hour. It grows from feeling trusted to know what you need. This is why some residents begin to feel more exhausted the busier their days become. It's not physical tiredness, it's emotional fatigue. Smiling when you don't feel like smiling, making small talk when you crave depth or quiet, being on all the time. At this stage of life, energy is precious. Spending it on activities that don't align with who you are can leave you drained instead of fulfilled. So what can you do with this understanding? The first step is letting go of guilt. There is nothing wrong with wanting less noise and more meaning. There is nothing selfish about choosing rest over routine. If you or someone you love is in a nursing home, it's important to speak up, gently but firmly, about preferences. Even small acts of choice can make a difference. Choosing to skip an activity without explanation, asking for time alone, requesting one-on-one conversation instead of group interaction. For those who are planning ahead, this awareness is powerful. When evaluating any care setting, look beyond the activity calendar. Ask how personal preferences are respected. Ask what happens when a resident says no. Ask how individuality is honored when it doesn't fit the schedule. A place that truly cares will value autonomy as much as engagement. It's also worth remembering that meaningful connection doesn't have to be loud or frequent. A quiet conversation with one person who listens can be far more nourishing than a room full of people you barely know. Reading, reflecting, writing, listening to music, spending time in nature when possible, these are not signs of withdrawal. They are signs of self-knowledge. If this topic resonates with you, you're not alone. Many seniors feel this way, but rarely hear it spoken out loud. Sharing your thoughts or experiences in the comments can help others feel seen and understood. Your voice matters more than you may realize. If you found this conversation helpful, take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. We share honest, thoughtful discussions like this to help you navigate aging with clarity, confidence, and dignity. No matter your age or your living situation, remember this: your happiness doesn't come from being constantly occupied. It comes from being respected, heard, and free to be yourself. Here's to protecting your independence, honoring your true needs, and living with intention at every stage of life.